Now, before we begin, I'm going to mention there's going to be a couple of shorts on this one because we really got to get the sort of gist of this, you could say, to then understand what understand the outcome of this. So when we read 26 and 27, we see that Nehemiah is saying here that even though Solomon did commit sin, so Solomon did a lot of maybe polygamy, you might want to call it, because he had many wives, and there were certain times these wives caused him to sin because they were not exactly off the faith. Okay, they were not off the sort of that the then Jewish tradition, then Israelite tradition, knowledge and understanding and wisdom. They were also part of other sort of civilizations around them. Okay, and they were also not completely under the banner of God. They believed in other gods. So these women that he married for beauty and for other purposes, I'll let your mind think of that, they caused him to sin because they were, again, like it says, outlandish women caused to sin. So because he allowed these people to come into his courts, he was sort of being pulled away from the presence of God. So what we now see is that when Nehemiah left Jerusalem, right, Eliashib, the high priest, did evil in the house of God because he made a chamber from Tobiah, which was an Ammonite. He made a chamber in the house of God, and he took away God's sort of vessels and the vestures that were there to praise God. He took all of that away, and by taking that away, he then made a chamber for Tobiah, where then the meat offerings and the frankincense of God was completely removed. Okay, and when Nehemiah come back and he see this, and he was like, what have you done, right? And in chapter 13 verse 8 we see, and it grieved me sore, therefore I cast forth all the household stuff of Tobiah out of the chamber. Verse 9, then I commanded that they cleanse the chamber, and thither brought I again the vessels of the house of God, and with meat offerings and frankincense. Now, along with this, okay, the portions of the Levites, remember the Levites were the priests, the portions of the Levites were taken away and given to Tobiah. And this is what, again, Eliashib did. He took away their portions and gave it to this man who is not to come into the congregation of the Lord forever, because the Ammonites and the Moabites are not to come in the congregation of the Lord forever. So he's done a very big sin here, okay, by allowing strangers, you could say, to lie in the same bed as the Israelites, and causing them to sort of do evil deeds, and in a way you could say like it was a traditional adultery.